Hey, everybody. Uh, Welcome to the next episode of Earworm. My name is Timothy Malone, and my partner in this podcast realm, this world of talking about music and songs, etc., is young master Zachary Smith here.
Hey
Zach,
there.
it is your week, my friend. We kind of share the responsibilities about the topics every week. And last week I did my song. So this week it's Zach's song. So, my friend, the helm is yours.
Well, pretty bad timing for my computer to crap out when it's my week. Uh, but here we are. We got the phone up. Uh, no headphones, but I'll take this opportunity to show you the cool little microphone I've been using. It's out of frame, so that's kind of fun. We match. Anyway, so Dave Matthews Band this week. My dad, it is one of his favorites. And growing up, I remember I grew up in South Jersey, so we would always go to this place. It was called Victory Lane for dinner. And on the way home, either my mom would meet us or my dad would meet us. We'd have two cars. So, like, we would go with one of us would go with dad, one would go with mom. And every time we went with dad, he would be playing Dave Matthews. And the other one would ask mom to play it. And she would be like, oh, no, I don't want to listen to him. So funny little contrast growing up there, but he's amazing, man. He's from Johannesburg, South Africa. He's 58, which little older than you, right?
That's funny. He's 6 years older than me, Zachary.
Okay, yeah, just a little bit. Um, but it's funny because growing up, I never would have thought that he was from South Africa. Um, the sound like of his voice never had that accent or whatever when he sang. So that was pretty interesting when I found that out. But their first show was back in '91, and they are still going strong as hell today.
It's funny you bring up the years because I remember in the mid to late '90s. Uh, I would say like 96 time frame, 97. I'd say 97, 97, 98. He was playing some pretty big venues in the Philadelphia over in Camden area. And every summer, in my recollection, 97, 98 through today, he's playing 2 to 3 shows every year in the Philadelphia area. And it's just standard. And it was it was almost like, oh yeah, you're going to Dave Matthews this year. Oh, which day are you going to? I mean, it's funny the timeline that you just presented. In my mind, a little older than you. I just remember Dave Matthews from. Oh my gosh, he's been around for so long. I'm like, when wasn't he around? 91. I'm like, that
That's
seems.
kind of how it feels. It feels like he's been around forever. Like one of those things where he's never not been around. Like he just boop,
Yeah.
like popped up. But like you said, the Philly area. Last year we were talking earlier at the bar when we met up, and last year I went to the first day, I think, of
Mm-hmm.
this tour, and that was kind of the jam sesh night.
Yeah.
So like he'd play some song that you knew like for 30 seconds, and then the next 7 minutes they were just going off.
Two of their
You know?
best Fish impersonation.
Yeah, and it's cool. It's an awesome show. It's an awesome experience. But I took Kate with me, and that was the first time she's been to a Dave Matthews show, and she knows the like the popular songs.
Oh yeah, who doesn't?
We didn't hear any of them. The most popular ones that he played were Every Day and Gravedigger, which we'll get to that later. But um, they were like the last two songs of the night. So you kind of had to get through all of that, like the jam sesh again, which amazing. But there's something about that one night where he plays, Ants Marching
Oh,
and Satellite and all that kind of stuff. And he just plays them all out and plays a full album. It's just different. So it depends on what one you're looking for, but you kind of have to do your research. But
Good point.
But again, going back to the Philly area, the Philly ties, you look back to '92. I mean, he's done the Mann Music Center, the TOA. He's done Tower Theater. He's obviously done a lot in Camden, the First Union Center, which is now the Wells Fargo Center, which is going to be the Xfinity Mobile whatever.
You mean originally it was the FU Center?
The FU Center, yes.
You just said FU to me?
I said that a lot, don't I?
Disregard.
But reading on here, I'll give shout out to 93.3 WMMR, local radio station here in the Philadelphia area. Sold 3 nights at Veterans Stadium with Carlos Santana and the Roots.
Yeah, I saw him. I saw him there in a box, with a friend of mine whose father owns a limo company. I think I might have mentioned like last week about the same person, and it was just crazy. And the place was, I mean, you don't remember the Vet. You've never been to the Vet, right? You're too young to remember that.
I don't think I was ever at the Vet. No.
Okay, yeah, I think they like blew it up in 2004 when you were like,
I remember watching it get blown up,
something like that. We had a box up there, and I watched Dave Matthews put on a show from like a weird like 30-degree angle. You know, I don't know if you've ever been like in a box to watch a stadium concert. I was saying to you earlier, I was talking about how many times he plays and how many times he's played in Philadelphia. I've seen a lot of concerts, like hundreds of concerts, and he is in my top 3 about how many times I've seen this freaking band. It was a staple in the Philadelphia area every summer. Like, what day are you going to Dave? Like, that was, that became part of the vernacular. Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of plan your summer around. It's like going to the shore. It's like, what week you going to the shore? What night are you going to Dave? Just kind of, it's always been around here. I love how deep it is in this area. But having said how many times he's been in Philly, how many times do you think he's playing in New York? You know, like
exactly.
What's the one, the MetLife, and then whatever the hell it was before.
Garden State Park Arena and places like that.
Oh shit, Central Park.
Yeah,
you know, all those live albums from Central Park are just crazy, man. So I would love to see like a printout of just every one of his shows.
I mean, it's funny. Like you compare like a band like this to some like historical bands that, like, you know, the Beatles. They stopped touring and they put out 2 or 3 albums where they didn't tour. And I mean, it's crazy. His first 7 albums were like #1. He has the record all time. Yeah. And he regardless of him like putting out a new album, he is still touring. Like it's like his job, like, or the band's job. That and the formation of the band is extremely interesting down there, where they're from.
Oh, really? Like the really like niche instruments that they play too, and they somehow fit it into the song, and it's just, it goes, and you can't imagine, like, you've never heard that instrument before, but you can't imagine the song without it.
Can you think, like, I was sitting here this week when you presented it last week, and I was doing like research, and I was, you know, bouncing around my mind, and they're almost, and I was like trying to correlate them to like this age's Grateful Dead, but it's different, you know, because there is it runs the gamut socially of who has actually been to a Dave Matthews show. There are metalheads that I know. I'm a huge punk rock guy, but I've been to how many Dave Matthews shows? dozens. And like it compared to I was trying to compare them to like a new modern Grateful Dead because they do the jam band songs and they're such instrumentalists. Their starts down there in Virginia, and there's kind of like a jazz background to them. In the same way the Dead got together up in Northern California, it blows my mind the more I sit there and think about this band. There's commercials and movies and TV shows that use their music. Like it's pretty incredible.
I remember, what was it? There was one Adam Sandler movie. Was it Anger Management, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
One of the songs is used in that. And like growing up with my dad listening to it, I've never like heard. I thought that was kind of a small market. And then I hear it in this movie and I'm like, what? This is weird. But yeah, I'm not a Grateful Dead fan. I wouldn't say I'm not a fan. I guess I misspoke there, but I don't know much about them. Like, I couldn't tell you the name of a song. If you played it, I wouldn't maybe know it's them. But the sound is a little. I see what you're saying. They're very similar, but the sound's different, right? Like Grateful Dead is a little slower.
It depends on the song, and we'll probably talk about the Dead further on down the road because the horse lady and her brother are big Dead fans.
Okay, yeah. Our boy Young Andy's
exactly one of our guests on down the road. Yeah, it's funny.
Like Dave has some slow stuff, but would you say that as a Grateful Dead guy or somebody that knows obviously more about them than me because I know shit? Would you say generally their style was slower?
I would say it's more folksy. And if you want
it's a different style.
Yes,
but
exactly.
The same kind of thing.
Yeah. You know, I mean, with Dave, there is a huge. There's a horn section with Dave, whereas with the Grateful Dead there wasn't. It was percussion, multiple guitars, bass, and lyrics, of course, and multiple lyrics. Whereas Dave leads the show with the lyrics wise, but they have the whole horn section going on, and those guys, sax, and they are amazing. And did you? I mean, I did a little bit of research, and I probably knew it before, but he had to basically court the musicians that he has now, like the saxophone player and the drummer, and to come in and work with him. He recorded a song by himself. I don't know what the story is, and I got to do a little more research about Dave. His attorney, I'm not sure why he had a personal attorney at the time, suggested he go record it and go kind of get this drummer to work with him, who's his drummer now, who is a big jazz musician down there in Charlottesville, Virginia. Is it Charlottesville? It's down there in Virginia. Anyway. Yeah. And he played the song for the drummer, and he won him over, and here we go, boom.
So a lawyer got this done?
According to my research, according to like Wikipedia, an attorney was like, you need to go record this song. I don't know, like that. So
the attorney obviously had some good taste.
But I mean, think about going back to the specific music. Like if you go look at Underneath the Table and Dreaming, his first album that blew up. I mean, I told you earlier I had the cassette tape and was playing it in the 90s. Yeah, I'm that old and decrepit. I mean, you look at that list. Every one of the songs on there's 15 songs on there that are listed. We'll get back to that. I mean, you could recognize every one of them. Warehouse, Lover Lay Down, Ants Marching, Typical Situation, Satellite. And I'm not even picking out the big ones, It's impressive.
It really is. And then you go to his next one. What was that? Crash.
Oh my goodness.
Crash is unbelievable.
I mean,
I think that's where more of his.
I got goosebumps when you just said that. Crash into me.
I feel like that's kind of like, obviously the jamming has always been his style, but that album Crash kind of, you saw it come out more in that. Like number 41, Two Step, like the intro to Two Step. It's a little more like they get into it a little bit more. They don't just start the song. Like, I feel like that kind of, I don't know, I always felt like even Trippin' Billy's, that little
Trippin' Billy's,
that intro, just the intro, they kind of got into their jam, I guess, in that album. That's how I always took it.
Yeah, and you know what? Generationally speaking, I mean, I'm underneath the table and dreaming. I told you I had the cassette tape, and that's their first debut album. And I think everybody fell in love. It was all over the radio. But your go to is Crash, and that's kind of funny because when you asked, when you asked about this song, or you presented the song, and I told you I'm like, oh, I got this song already. And Pay for What You Get is by far my favorite Dave Matthews song. And the funny thing about it is it's not listed on the album. It's like a hidden song at the end of what would be considered side B. And I told you earlier, I looked it up on Amazon. And when you look at the album playlist on, like in order, the 15 songs, it's not even on the playlist for the album.
Yeah. It's like a little special thing for the real fans back in the day, like left on the vinyl.
There was a bunch of bands back in the day. I think the Beatles did it. Led Zeppelin did it. Pink Floyd used to do it all the time. They would do like random musicals at the end of the album. It wasn't listed there. And you were saying like you're familiar with, vinyl, LPs, how they work. And it would get to the end and you're looking at it and all of a sudden, it wouldn't get to the end and go, let it skip at the end. And then all of a sudden this other song would come on. And Pay for What You Get. I mean, I should have had more time because I vaguely remember somebody saying on the radio about like they didn't want to list it. They just wanted to like surprise everybody. And I think it's kind of cool. It's like they're like in tune with their market, if you will. They don't even know the name of the song, and they're like, "Oh, this song is awesome." But if you go into Amazon and look for Pay for What You Get, it comes up with the album cover and Pay for What You Get, and then boom, you can play it.
Yeah, it's kind of like they give you the live version of a concert on that album, right? Like, obviously everybody knows they go back and then they're like, oh, I want the encore. Everybody knows the encore is gonna happen, but they just like slip the little encore on there for you. It's different. That's a good way innovative.
That's a good way to present it. I never really thought of it that way.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, look at you. You're such a maestro.
I'm kind of smart.
Kind of.
So would you say that's your favorite song?
It is. It always has been. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the lyrics. Maybe it's like when I heard it. That's something we can talk about in further episodes. It will always be, you pay for what you get. It's simplistic. It's not as instrumental as I think it's. It's basically him and guitar. If I can remember, recall correctly, but it's just, that song sticks out in my mind when it comes. Don't get me wrong. You presented Crash, and you started, Crash Into Me, and I'm like, holy moly, that is his songs. He is probably his band, probably top 3 of all time, in my opinion. All time popular music.
I would agree with you there. It's 100% an opinion question.
Absolutely.
But I would agree with you on that opinion. This band is, yes, top 3 all time. But like a song like Crash Into Me, that was a radio hit for a while, right? Yeah. So maybe that got people into him. Maybe they heard that song and they were like, oh, cool, and never listened to anything else from him. But the fact that Crash Into Me, it hits the radio, and then there's so much more like left to give from him. Again, like Two Step, Trippin' Billy's, Lie in Our Grave, so much to say. The same album, Proudest Monkey is an awesome song, and it's just hidden. It's almost a 10-minute song at the end of the album, and you kind of have to get through it, but it's listed. He's crazy, man. And the meaning to some of these songs too. Like I brought up Gravedigger. That one, I've been listening to that a lot recently. I don't know if it's been because it's rainy outside and it's kind of a very fitting one.
Is it like 6 days in a row here in Philadelphia? For goodness sakes, my goodness.
But when you look into the song and how it was created, it was him and his guitar tech, Craig. They both lost their fathers growing up.
Oh my goodness.
So they really sat down and started talking about it, and boom, here comes the song. You know, you listen to it, he sings the Ring Around the Rosie part, obviously associated with death, but just putting all that in there, and it's just it unifies everybody. Like, death is inevitable, but like we're getting real deep here.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's good.
You know, but death's inevitable, and that gravedigger at the last person, you know, that will see you. Dude, the song is so deep when you look into it, but it can also be a background gig too if you don't. But there's so many songs that I have never looked up and looked into before, and found the meaning, like Ants Marching.
Wow,
you listen to that, I have no clue what any of that's meaning. Wow. It's just awesome. It's an awesome song.
It's funny you name these songs, and how many songs from familiar artists that you like, that you enjoy, that we'd call them your favorites, and you list the name of the song, like, and go, oh, I love that song. A lot of times you're like, what? And if I say to you, Satellite, you know exactly what that song is, and you can pretty much sing the lyrics to me. Yep. Best of What's Around. Like, I mean, everyone is familiar with that. It's kind of endearing that here's this band that, with all due respect, Zach, you're 20 plus years younger than me. I grew up with, like, I got out of the Navy, and like I just went to these shows, and I was like, Dave Matthews, oh my God, it's the guy from blah, blah, blah. Like he was always on, and then like it just got used to it. And then you're going with your parents, and now you go on a regular basis. I'm like, chances are you and young lady Kate are going to go to a show this summer. I'm going to take the horse lady. I mean, oh my goodness. And that's how I correlated with like the Dead. That was when I was in high school, when I was in junior high. Oh, the Dead shows, everyone's going down to the Dead. And like he plays and you showed me the dates earlier. He plays every freaking summer, no less than 3 concerts in our area. And he probably does the same thing in Detroit, New York, Chicago, Boston, LA, Vegas, everywhere. Miami. Yeah.
And so if you think about the surrounding areas too, he does at least those 2 in Camden, right? And then he goes over to Hershey Park. He does a couple over there. That's a quick little drive over. He goes up to Asbury Park. He's up in New York. He's down in Baltimore. The dude is like, you throw a dart somewhere on the tri-state area, he's hitting it. Yeah. And then he's huge down in Florida too.
It's funny. One of the things you brought up earlier about the multiple shows at multiple locations, and I looked it up this week, and he is most famous for doing a different show at each event he's playing at the location. And you mentioned that you saw him at the first show, the first time with your parents, or remember, I don't even recall, but it was like the jam session. And then
that was last year.
Yeah, okay, that last year. And he'll play a different show the next day, and then the third day he'll play a completely different show and different sets and things like that. I find that's awesome.
Well, yeah. So a lot of people, or a lot of bands, you can look up the set lists or whatever. Like, they keep the set list consistent for every show through the tour. He does the 2 different styled ones, but he may even switch up that set list just to screw with people. Like, you're expecting one thing and then you get another. So he's always keeps you on your toes. And I think that's what I love and admire about him. And the band. The band is amazing. The drummer wore FootJoy golf gloves through his career. Go back and watch any live event. He'll be wearing FootJoy golf gloves. Just go, wow.
Look at you. He's your favorite drummer of all time.
Hell yeah.
It's funny. You brought up earlier, you went to the jam session show like last year. And I had mentioned to you that I don't remember when it was because I've seen him so many times. But I think I was with a new young lady and we went to the show. And it was just like there was the minimum song length was 7 minutes, and sometimes it went like well past that. Like, I'm a big fan of Dave Matthews. I want to say I love Dave Matthews because there's so many songs I like by him. I could make a list, but those jam sessions, I'm sitting there like, I'm not a big weed smoker, so I'm not like dancing around or anything. I'm like,
holy me to it. I was gonna say that's what you need to enjoy. He's pandering to his crowd, bro.
I'm like, honestly, Zach, I'm sitting there, THC is not hitting my system. I'm like, okay, let's come on, let's go. Let's
go home.
I mean, I think I described you in one of the episodes earlier. My daughters and I went to go see Lil Wayne, and it was like, boom, 2.5 minute song, boom, and then we just went to the next song. I'm like, I'm gonna see which ones I like more, in one episode moving forward. Like, gun to your head, which one would you rather see? So, I mean, it's like they're doing their best dead fish, impersonation or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, he goes to places that have lawns, and he knows people are just going to sit on the lawn and smoke a bunch of weed and do little extracurriculars. And
sitting on the green
for as long as he wants. It's going to feel like 20 minutes.
Sitting on the green, spending the green, smoking the green. Here we go. Zach, I appreciate you bringing this up because we could easily correlate our opinions and our lives together in reference to this guy. My big takeaway is, dude, I love the guy. Like he puts like his catalog of music. I mean, they're in movies and TV shows and commercials and stuff. And you brought up earlier about Adam Sandler. If you didn't, it made me think about it. Do you know he's been in 2 Adam Sandler movies?
Yeah, well, he was in the one I said was Anger Management, I think, and then was in. Oh God!
So you're incorrect. He was in I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry.
Okay.
And
what was the other one?
So Don't Mess with the Zohan is the other movie he was in, and he plays like the redneck, the crazy like Southern redneck. Do you remember?
Oh my God, he's in it. Yo! Oh my God!
I told you.
Oh, all right. What do you think of that movie? Sidetrack.
That movie's awful. It's completely ridiculous.
It's so bad, but I love it, bro.
Okay, it's one of those like oh my gosh!
I forgot he was in that, and then he was in Chuck and Larry. What was he? What did he do in that?
He plays the homosexual salesman in that.
That's
one.
Right. Yeah. Oh, he doesn't miss. He doesn't miss. Wow.
I mean, all these really smart and intelligent, talented guys from South Africa. Not to go into politics, but that's kind of funny.
About that,
dude. I just knocked you off your feet with that one.
You unlocked a memory there. I didn't know I needed.
I fired a neuron in your bean piece there for you.
Oh, damn.
Zach, I appreciate your choice this week because it was generalistic. It was universal. I mean, I challenge our listeners and everyone, please start following us on all the applications you can think of. Instagram, Odyssey, Amazon. You will see us on there. And we're going to start showing you, and we'll probably be able to display links in the next couple of weeks. So you can just actually click on us in our podcast and give us a follow. And then we're going to start taking some feedback Zach, from our audience, and what they want to talk about, perhaps some songs and musicians, or kind of feelings about music. You had an idea recently. Maybe we'll save it for another episode. But your topic today, I was very, very interested in. And next week, it's Memorial Day weekend. Just to give our listening audience and our followers a heads up, we're going to have our second guest on, and we'll keep that close to the chest who it is. But you'll see. I'm going to wear the sweatshirt, Zach, of this guy's podcast. But hey, man, I am so thankful for your topic this week. I mean, it's so good that you didn't pick a specific song of theirs, and you're just like, all right, we're just going to do them.
It's kind of hard to pick one specific song of his, but no, that was fun to talk about him as a whole. To your point, yeah, please reach out, give us some suggestions. We got a good lineup of shows we're going to live this year. I was just at good old Teddy Swims last night at the Man. Phenomenal show. He is a dream. He's awesome. We got Post Malone coming up. He's going on tour with Jelly Roll. I'll be at that one. The whole crew's going to what is it? Creed. Somebody else.
And this group is going, and we're going to share that with you.
Yeah, so we got a bunch of live stuff coming up. But yeah, this was a fun one. This was a real good talk here, Timmy.
Zach, I'm it's the third time I'm going to thank you. I'm going to thank you again. And then next week, like I said, we're going to have another Timothy with us. He's a little bigger than me, not quite as intelligent, but you'll see.
He'll probably have some dumbass song.
Exactly. Whatever.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
Happy birthday. Isn't that great? It's just so easy to remember.
HBD, Tim. HBD.
ZMT? Or, excuse me, ZMT. YMZ. Thank you, sir. And what was my name? What would they say that again?
Funky Finkel.
YMZ and Funky Finkel. Wish you a great day. See you next week.
Later, everybody.